So a lot's happened in the last week. What was your first day like?
My first day was amazing. I was pleasantly surprised when I stepped into my first command staff meeting. You know, I was expecting, there's some turmoil going on. I'm probably going to get some, disgruntled looks. I got exactly the opposite. I got a room full of people that were just sitting there. It's like, we're ready to go, coach. And I thought, this is awesome. This is good energy. And you can tell when people like each other. And I thought, oh, this is going to be fun. And so we started talking about what do we need to do. And people are coming up with ideas, and here's what I've got. And we went around the table. And by the end of that meeting, I thought, gosh, I had all these words of wisdom that I thought I was going to have to share. It's like, you guys are there. We just need to get ourselves coordinated. We need to get past all this the temporary turmoil and distractions. Let's get back to work. We got great stuff to do. So yesterday was a very energizing, invigorating day. And I had been questioning my sanity coming out of retirement. And by the end of the day yesterday, I just thought, best decision ever. This is great. This is going to be fun.
Right, and you said it's the adrenaline kind of rushing back.
Exactly. There's something about it, and I'm sure there's other professions, but particularly in law enforcement, there's the sense of just being invigorated. We got stuff going on. We got stuff to do. We got a mission to carry out. There's really no other way to get that adrenaline rush that I know of. And I have to be honest, I didn't realize how much I missed it. And yesterday, it was a very long day, and I was still smiling. I was like, this is going to be great. I can't wait to get back tomorrow.
Good. I love the energy that you have going on.
Well, and my energy is being fed by the people I'm working with.
Right.
They are so ready to just get back to it. Let's get the distractions dealt with, and let's get back to work. Because that's another thing I know about cops. We like to get stuff done. We've got a mission. We need to get to work. We've got things to do. So I am really, really pleasantly surprised at what I've encountered so far, and really hopeful about what we can accomplish, at least in the next 6 months.
Right. And kind of tying into some of the missions that you guys have, I know recruitment is one of those. And
That's
you've mentioned
#1 top priority, because we can't, our top priority as an organization is public safety. We need to be able to keep the community safe. We need bodies to do that. And so I can't reach that mission until I achieve my first priority, which is increase our level of hiring. We've got to get more people in the door. I think the Seattle Police Department is positioned to attract more people. They just got a contract resolved. Their pay is great. We're looking at bringing in the 30 by 30. The 30 by 30 initiative is in. We're looking at implementing flexible work schedules.
Right.
So we are going to become the police agency that is putting their money where their mouth is for officer wellness. Well, you have flexibility. If you are trying to raise a young family, sometimes having both parents working full time is not doable. Maybe one of the parents goes into part-time status for a while. We're going to be able to offer that. I think that is going to bring people in the door. So I'm really excited for that to happen.
Right, and you mentioned flexibility. That's another thing. I know you're talking about bringing in more female officers, and that flexibility is definitely such a benefit.
And it's that's not even speculation. There's a ton of research that has been done across the country, and that always comes up, if not the top thing for most surveys, in the top 3. If I had flexibility, that would bring me in. And it's the thing that keeps people in. So there's 2 components to it: getting people in the door, but we want to keep employees once they either decide to start a family, or maybe they're taking on the care of an elderly parent. Life circumstances, if they have the ability to go into part-time status for a while, they don't have to leave. It's very expensive to replace an officer that's left. So I think this is going to be a huge retention tool.
Good. Is there any other ways or other opportunities that you offer to try to bring in more officers, or trying to bring in more female officers?
Well, I think we need to more effectively showcase the opportunities in the Seattle Police Department. Right. I have been blown away by what I've learned just in the last day and a half about the technology, the tools, the capabilities this department has. It's amazing. And I have to confess, I'm a baby boomer, and so some of this stuff I look at, it's like, man, I wish we had that when I was working the street, because they're great tools. What people in policing particularly like is being successful. And when they have better tools, they can be more satisfied that they're doing an effective job. And I want to showcase for people, we're not rolling in the money, but we've got good tools, we've got good technology, we've got good equipment. We can do some great stuff. I think getting that word out will bring more people in. I know people have talked about, is this a supportive environment politically? I got to meet almost every council member on Wednesday, and every one of them could not have been more gracious and stepped up. What can we do to support better public safety? Mm-hmm. So I think we need to get that word out. I think that there's a lot more support for our police officers than people might realize. Mm. I know we have work to do. We've got some challenges that we have to get better at. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of communities in the city of Seattle that are very happy with the police. They're very supportive. And we need to start talking about that too. Wow. We need to address problems. We also need to look at what's going right. How do we do more of that?
Right. And you bring a lot of experience to the table, but you mentioned doing like a listening tour.
Yes.
What does that look like, and what are you going to do with the information that you get from that?
So I have to do two different types of listening tours. Okay. So initially I'm going to start, and I've already started, internally connecting with men and women of the agency all around, mm-hmm. to listen to what they need, what their world looks like. Because we have to pull together as a team so we can be effective in serving the community. So that's got to get started. Simultaneously, I will be out meeting with community members, community leaders, community organizations. I have a few old relationships that are still there that I need to renew. Mm-hmm. And Chief Diaz made amazing connections with community leaders, and I'm going to build on those. I want to reassure the communities that he had good connections with, that we're going to keep doing this. Just because we have a different chief, we are still going to work with all the different communities. But that has to be done face to face. I can't send an email or a letter. I need to be there, and I want to sit down in person and start talking about what do you need, mm-hmm. what can we do, how can we partner with you, right. to keep you safe.
And I know you've been a big advocate for community policing.
Yes.
Is that something that you're going to integrate here? Some problems people say is that how are we going to do community policing if they're busy trying to figure out responding to calls? So is there a way
I love the question, because community policing isn't a different thing.
Right. Community
policing is how you handle all the calls. Right. Community policing is how you interact with the community. So it's not like we have this is community policing and this is policing. It's all the same. Right. And we need to make sure that all the policing we do is with the community in mind. Are we partnering with them? Is this what this community wants and needs? Mm-hmm. And that's different in different communities. Some communities like to see police cars a lot. Other communities don't want that, and maybe that's not the most effective way to make their community safe. But we need to be talking to each other and figuring out what that is. But community policing is not separate from anything else we do. It's how we do our policing. Right. We do it with the community.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. And I know you mentioned that this is the beginning, so I'm not going to start fast forwarding into the end, but you don't want this permanent position. But I know when Chief Diaz had it, he was interim for about 2 years. Are you committed to spending that amount of time, or just taking it day by day?
No, I'm definitely in this role for 6 months.
Okay.
And that was my agreement with the mayor's office. This is an interim assignment, which is what makes it attractive to me.
Right.
Because there's a defined period of time. Because it's 6 months, I am going to be in a sprint for 6 months. This isn't a marathon for me. This is a sprint. Starting yesterday. Yesterday was a 14-hour day. Yeah. And I can do that for 6 months. I can't do it for 6 years.
Right.
But really, what I'm trying to do, I'm coming in to just get things stabilized, figure out what can we do to get this department ready for their next chief, and what can we do to attract a great candidate. I've got a pretty good network across the nation, as does Kathy O'Toole. We're going to be working together on this. I want to be able to sit down with different police chief candidates and say, this is my experience. I am having a great time. These are great people. You will love working here as the chief. And I need to share with them the level of support we have from the city council, from the mayor's office. Most of our communities, we still have work to do in other communities, and we're going to keep working on that. But this is going to be a great permanent police chief job. And I need to be able to speak face to face with my colleagues across the country and say, come to Seattle, bring an umbrella.
Right.
And then you're not going to use it when you're here.
Yeah,
get yourself a North Face jacket with a hood.
Exactly.
But you can start with an umbrella, but you're going to switch to a hood.
Right. I don't even bring out the umbrella anymore because I'm like, I'll just stick in the rain.
Well, exactly, because you end up going through 25 umbrellas because you lose them, like sunglasses.
But you were mentioning you and Kathleen O'Toole, you guys are tasked with looking for the next chief. What qualities are you looking for? And do you have anyone in mind yet, or is it still too early to tell?
It's too early to say any particular person. I think what the Seattle Police Department needs is somebody who is a change agent, who is innovative, and who's just excited, who's really excited to do the work and fully understands how important it is to work with the community to create public safety. And I think we're at the stage of law enforcement where there are good candidates out there that really want to do innovative policing and looking at a more holistic approach. We don't just come in with guns blazing and arrest bad guys. That's after the fact. That doesn't make the community safer. It's just faster cleanup after something bad has happened. Innovative police chiefs want to work at the front end. What can we do to prevent the crime from happening in the first place? And it's not the police that are going to prevent it, but the police can certainly rally all of the different service providers to say, here's what we need in this community. When we identify high crime areas, it shouldn't be, hey, we're just going to bring a bunch of cops in. We need to bring in all the different social services to figure out what is it going to take to reduce the criminogenic environment here. What do we need to get people working together again?
Right, and stop it before it gets bad.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. I know you said, so you mentioned 6 months.
Yes.
And usually a lot of government agencies, it takes time and it's a little bit slower to change. Do you think you'll be able to make that change in the next 6 months, or what are you hoping to attain at least in that time?
I'm not going to be able to change. And my goal is not to change the department in 6 months. My goal is to get things stabilized, identify opportunities to get different initiatives started, make sure that we are on track. I guess I would describe it as planting seeds that are going to sprout after I'm gone. And I love that's the fun part of building an organization is getting those seeds in place, making sure the trajectory's right so that things are moving in the right direction. One of the reasons that I was excited about this job is looking at the data. We have a lot of positive trends happening now. Officers' pay has increased, so that certainly is going to help recruiting. But also just the number of people coming in the door is coming up. The crime rate is moving down a little bit. We have some areas that still are very problematic that we're going to focus on. But there's some positive momentum that's already started, and I want to harness that and just keep that going as much as I can.
So pretty much keep that momentum.
I think, just harnessing the momentum and keeping it going. I think that would be, I'd be really happy if I was able to do that for 6 months.
Okay, awesome. One more, let's see. I think I've got it all.
Great.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, have you pinpointed a couple things? that you want to plant seeds for? Do you have some projects in mind? Are you going to wait
Yeah.
and see? What are
Yeah.
some specific things that?
So the specific project focusing, should I be looking at you? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should know better. But,
No, you're fine.
no, one of the most specific thing I'm looking at is the hiring process. Every step of the hiring process, making sure that we're doing the best we can to make that as fast and efficient and effective as we can. Now, when I say fast, I don't mean it's going to be sloppy.
Right.
It's just that we're competing with other police departments. It's a very competitive market.
Right.
And if it takes too long to get through the process, we're going to lose good candidates to other departments. So we have to get competitive in the time frame it takes to bring people inside. So I'm very specifically focusing on that right away. The other area that I'm focusing on is building a plan to implement flexible work schedules,
Right.
because that's going to be both a recruiting tool, but it's a big retention tool, so that when people find themselves in life circumstances, they don't have to leave.
Right.
They can go part-time, because replacing a cop is really expensive and it's very time-consuming.
Right. And this is like just my own personal
Yeah.
question. I know I was kind of looking into the Before the Badge initiative. Is there any like support emotionally for officers? I know sometimes the job can get a little tough, especially in kind of, I don't want to say like the environment that it is.
Right,
In certain areas are
right.
not as welcomed as it used to be
Right.
in that kind of area.
Well, we haven't, and I'm learning more about this. I don't have as much information as I will have in a couple weeks,
Right.
but we have a robust officer wellness program, and we're bringing in a person who has expertise in working with agencies that have been through extreme difficulties. And I'm looking forward to learning about that. I haven't been briefed on all the details, but I think that's going to be really helpful.